Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. That was not my intro. You know what time it is. It's another episode. Oh my god. Great start to the video. It's the last Thursday of the month of May, so it's time for another episode of, what is this called? Oh, Breaking 10,000 Barriers. Yeah, so welcome to the 5th episode of Breaking 10,000 Barriers. We are nearing the halfway mark, even though the series will probably go on for a really long time as I work through my hemiplegia journey. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I completely forgot to film the very first episode of, not the first episode, I forgot to film my exercises in the beginning of the month of May, so I only have footage of like very recently, which I just noticed I'm wearing this exact same top in the footage of me doing my exercises. That being said, I also didn't really do my exercises that much this month. Obviously, I want this to be like a really honest series, so yeah, I definitely want to be open with you guys about like the struggles of going through this kind of thing. I didn't really do my exercises this month. I can probably count on one hand how many times I did exercises this month for this series specifically, like aside from going to the gym and things like that. So that being said, obviously my progress isn't going to be very different from last month, but I thought I would still make a video and show you guys anyway, and also just giving you guys the reminder that it's okay to have bad days, bad months, bad weeks, whatever it may be. Everybody's journey is different, and this is obviously a really hard thing to go through, so yeah, don't be too hard on yourselves if you feel like you need several weeks or even a month off of doing things like this. It's really hard to be consistent, but yeah, there's always next month to try again. Let's head into the first category, hand movement. So first exercise is my wrist flexion and extension. You guys know how it goes, assisting with my left hand to move it through that movement. Second exercise is my supination and pronation of my wrist, still taking my hand and wrist through that movement of twisting my wrist upwards and downwards. Next exercise is opening and closing my hand. For optimal movement for this exercise, I have always and still am taking my thumb out of the equation when it comes to doing that exercise, just because my thumb really gets in the way. It's easier for me to close my forefingers when my thumb is pulled outward so that it's not blocking, like kind of like the pathway for my fingers to move down, I guess, if that makes sense. And now moving into the second category, arm movement. First exercise is raising my arm straight up above my head. That one's still going strong, I'm not gonna lie. That one has definitely improved from day one. I'm really excited for the end of the year when I compare January's exercises to December's exercises, because I was not anywhere near doing what I'm doing right now. What is it, 4 months ago now, or 5 months ago? As you can see, I guess a struggle that I have with this exercise still is when my arm gets to the top, it tends to be slightly bent, and I have to consciously correct it and straighten my arm out when it gets to the top above my head. So that's something that I can definitely work on moving forward, but still great progress with that one from January. Next exercise is flexing and extending my bicep. I think I said this last month, but I've noticed that my hand itself, when I do this exercise, is much looser. Like I feel like in past months, my hand would be like squeezing really tight in a fist. And honestly, that gets kind of painful sometimes. So it's really nice to have it kind of with open fingers and not so tight. It hurts pretty bad when it does that. So especially when I have my ring on this hand. Third exercise in this category is bringing my arm behind me. In more recent past months, I noticed that I was tending to kind of like throw it behind me, like kind of aggressively, and that would make it look like it was going further than it was, I guess. I guess it was going that far, but like not like controlled movement. It was more of like a flail, I guess. I don't know. This time around, I kind of tried to use more of a controlled movement to see physically how far I can actually bring my arm back. And yes, my arm is still bent. That's going to be a struggle in itself to overcome. So that one is also very hard. Moving on to the third category, foot movement. The first exercise is pointing my foot and ankle. Looks about the same to me. No, don't really have much comments on that one. Second exercise is flexing my ankle. I guess the other exercise was more so pointing my ankle and foot. This one is flexing my foot and ankle. Again, pretty much the same. Like I've said, I think the past 2 months, the part of the body that is furthest away from your brain is going to be the last one to get much progress, I think is how my PT used to phrase it. So like your toes and your fingers are like the furthest from your brain on your arm and your leg. So those are going to be the hardest to get back. That brings me to the third exercise, wiggling my toes. Still the same, not much progress, still just taking it through the movement with my able hand. Now to the last category, leg movement. The side fire hydrants is the first exercise. It's hard not having something to compare it to, like having footage from my exercises in the beginning of the month, obviously. Like I said, I was slacking, so. I mean, it's good, solid hip movement, I'm not gonna lie. It's, I feel like it's a lot more improved from before. But yeah, there's still a lot of things that I could improve with this exercise, like I guess balance in general could be improved. Being able to control keeping my knee straight in this exercise is another one. And also, I guess, controlling my foot movement. I could keep that a little bit more sturdy and controlled. All things to work on. Moving on to the next exercise, kicking my butt with my heel. I feel like reviewing this footage, I could keep in mind for the month of June, maybe focusing more on lifting my heel to my butt as opposed to moving my whole leg backward to get the motion of my foot going to my butt. Because, yeah, it's not looking like the best quality movement, honestly. And the last and final exercise for this month's episode is working on my balance standing on my left leg. Not the best. It felt like it was a lot longer than it was when I was doing it. According to the clip, it's only 5.8 seconds, and I know I've gotten above 10 seconds in other episodes, so that's not the best, but you know, I've said before, you can have good and bad days with balance. That one is kind of a tricky one to kind of see improvement with, because like I said, you can have good and bad days. But that brings me to the end of this month's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. I promise I will do better in the coming months, and I will see you next week for another new video. Okay, bye!